Hello, and welcome to Raccoon City.
Welcome to Raccoon City, the place you never want to go to.
Well, it doesn't exist anymore, so...
Imploded, but
Yeah.
that's at the end.
So, for this video game AV Club, we decided to watch Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which is, as far as I know, the latest Resident Evil? No, the TV show.
TV show is the latest.
Technically the latest.
So, here are your deets, because this is actually different than the one that we watched last month. So, it's been almost 20 years since that first... Actually, it's been 20 years this year since the first Resident Evil movie.
Live action movie.
There
are 3 totally sick CGI movies that I would recommend over any of these live action movies, to be honest with you.
Alright, so Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City was written and directed by Johannes Robert. He is probably most notably known for 47 Meters Down, which is a shark movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Wait, they didn't have the evil shark in this one.
Nope.
Poseidon, I think, or something.
Yeah, he made it in his...
Man. They didn't even have Jan, this evil snake.
They had a lot, though.
Okay, so for having to put together the first 2 games, I was kind of impressed.
I feel like it's definitely a fan-based game, because I think if you didn't know anything about Resident Evil, you would be really lost in this movie.
I was lost.
That's because it was dark.
Yeah, I couldn't see what was happening half the time, and honestly, that we had a whole situation with Brad and Richard looking the same.
Yes.
We had to rewind the movie because I was like, wait a second.
Who is this person?
Who is this person? I thought he was trying to be Barry, but Barry's not even in this movie.
No.
It was Richard.
So this movie stars Kaya Scodelario. Probably butchered that. She plays Claire, and I would say she is our protagonist.
You think?
I feel like she's in the movie probably more than Chris. She is most notably known from The Maze Runner. Chris, her brother, is played by Robbie Amell. He is Stephen Amell's, the Arrow's cousin, and he's been in a bunch of stuff, but he's probably most notably known for that Amazon series Upload, where he dies and then his consciousness is upload.
I've never heard that before.
I've seen a crap ton of previews for that. We have Miss Jill Valentine, who's played by Hannah John Kamen. She's from Killjoys, and she's also in Ant-Man and Wasp. Wesker is played by John Hopper. He's probably most notably known as the Umbrella Academy. Leon is played by, I'm going to totally butcher this, and I apologize, Avon Jogia?
Sounds right.
And he was in Victoria. Then we have our resident bad guy, who his name is Neil McDonough, and he plays Birkin, and he's basically a bad guy in every single thing that he is ever in, and he is also in a crap ton of stuff. And then we have Chief Irons, who is played by Donald Logue, who is also in a crap ton of stuff, but I remember him from the show Grounded for Life, which is an amazing show, and he did a great job as the dumb dad. So if you haven't seen it, it's recommended. Other stats from this, it made about $17 million in the US.
All right.
And 41 worldwide. Its budget was $25 million. And in 2021, it was the 50th highest grossing film, which is better than the other Resident Evil movie, although other Resident Evil movie made more money. This one, 2021, was the year of Marvel. There was like a 6 Marvel
2021 was kind of a bad year to release any movie because COVID was still happening and is still happening, and nobody was going to the theaters.
I will say the synopsis I got from IMDb, and it is 1 sentence.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Set in 1998 with the best soundtrack ever, by the way. That's not in the description, but thank you whoever put the soundtrack together for the awesome reminiscence of 98. This origin story explores the secret of the mysterious Spencer Mansion and the ill-fated Raccoon City. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. It's a weird choice to do 1 and 2 at the same time and not like 2 and 3 at the same time, or even 1 and 0 at the same time. The 2 things that are actually happening around the same time. Instead, you pick 2 things that are supposed to be happening months apart from each other and decide, I'm going to make them happen at the same time.
I feel like similar location, though, but I guess they're all similar location.
Because you have the mansion and you have the town. Yeah. You could have saved so much by having 2 and 3 just happening in the town, 1 and 0 just happening in the mansion. So I don't know. I know that 1 and 2 is like the most popular, and honestly 2 had a remake that came out, and I know that they're basing everything that they have on the 2 remake because they had the orphanage and the RPD, and all the stuff in it was similar to the remake and not the original. But still, weird decisions were made.
So we watched this through a free trial through Amazon with Stars. It's on Stars if you want to go check it out. Other than that, you're going to have to pay to watch it. And Rotten Tomato critics gave it a 30% flat.
Critics?
Critics. And audiences, 65% approval.
Interesting.
So what do we think?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Everyone hyped this up like it was the worst thing to come out of Resident Evil, although some people may say that's a TV show now, so it's just a bummer after bummer.
I saw this on an airplane,
which automatically is a worse experience.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad flight.
I don't like any movie that I've seen on an airplane. New. If I have to watch a movie that I've seen before.
True. Trying to remember. Yeah, all of the movies that I watched because it was a super long flight were not enjoyable. And I was like, well, I'm glad I watched it here and not paid money to see this. So we talked a little bit about canon versus non-canon. It's more in line with the remake than the original, and it's also a mishmash of...
Yeah, it's a mishmash.
But it is definitely a call-out for Resident Evil fans.
It seems like they cared a lot about Resident Evil, but the way that they interpreted the characters was completely different than the way I think the majority of people interpret the characters.
Which is funny because we were watching this movie and we had a conversation, and I totally thought that Barry was black from reading the book, and I'm wrong. So, but you know what? Barry can be whatever he wants to be.
Sure.
And there is a lack of diversity in the Resident Evil world.
Well, yeah, they didn't even have Martin in this movie, who was one of the police officers in Resident Evil 2. They skipped out a lot of characters, including Barry. Barry's not in this one either.
Yeah, we were a little confused because there is definitely, you have your main team, which is Weskers, Jill, Claire, Chris, Leon, Irons, and Birkin.
Funny to put Irons in there.
Well, he
is, but
he's probably more notable because of I feel like the actor that played him. Oh, and then we forgot about Lisa.
Lisa, yeah. So Lisa was an addition to the game for the first game's remake, and she was creepy as hell, and it was awesome.
Yeah, she's creepy as hell in the movie too. Because again, super dark film, very.
I can't see
all
anything.
At night. It all takes place. Well, there's like a. Previously in Raccoon City, we get a little preface with life at the orphanage at the very beginning of the movie.
I didn't blame them when they did that one scene where they cut up the segments where they did previously, and then they went back to it later on in the movie.
Oh, all the flashbacks?
Yeah.
At Claire House?
So when you start out the movie in the Raccoon City orphanage with Claire and Chris.
Sleeping in bed together.
And Claire is getting quote-unquote harassed by Lisa.
This girl, like, this hand comes out of nowhere and, like...
wants to touch her face.
Yeah.
Lisa loves faces. What
she
can
collects
I say?
Them.
So, yeah, that's happening. Lisa is this... They don't really explain what Lisa is very well.
She kicks ass, though.
In the games, she's this little girl that they were experimenting on at the Spencer Mansion to help find I think a cure, because her body could like withstand a lot.
I do also have to say that this movie does not really explain the whole T virus, G virus thing.
No.
It's more like they're a pharmaceutical company and, oh, you think they just make vitamins? No, they're making other stuff too. They're poisoning the city.
They're poisoning the water supply.
Bad guys.
They're gonna tie you to the train tracks next.
What you gonna do?
Not the
what
well.
What you gonna do? Are we ready to jump in and just spoil the whole thing?
I mean, I guess. I kind of already started.
Yeah, we did.
I'm just assuming you didn't want to watch this movie, or you already have. So, watch at your own risk.
I mean, it's not awful, but it's also not fantastic.
Would I recommend it? Would you recommend it?
I like the Anderson Resident Evil movie better than this one, the one that we watched last month. But obviously, this is the second time that I'm watching it. So if it was awful, I'd be like, we're not watching this movie, or I'd make you watch it on your own.
People have given it 2 stars. I'd say 2 or 3.
It could have been better, but yeah, I've definitely seen worse. But I don't think it's getting a sequel.
Having to combine those two games that are happening in completely different sites at different times, they did a pretty decent job. I thought it would be way worse, is what I'm saying. So if you've played Resident Evil, maybe. If you
haven't, you will be really confused.
Don't watch this.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Resident Evil is or anything, just stop. Just go away.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe not go away, but continue to listen, because we're gonna tell you the movie.
Okay.
The movie opens with some creepy kids singing la 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 la.
We already started talking about this.
And we're in the orphanage.
Yeah, we have Claire Redfield and Chris Redfield, who are orphans, I guess, in the Raccoon City orphanage. And I already told you that Lisa Trevor, who is this creepy experimented on girl,
you don't really
also
see her until the end of the beginning.
The end of the beginning of the movie.
I already sound confused. So there's this little girl, and she's like, she's watching me, and Chris is like, there's no one there. Go back to sleep before we get in trouble. And then she follows this girl, and the night nurse is watching Golden Girls because it's hilarious. And
so funny.
then she goes into this weird playroom, and it definitely gave me Sixth Sense vibes, because there's a tent with a light on, and then she just like is talking to her, and that she sees the hospital bracelet that says what her name is.
They all got hospital bracelets on. Claire has one too. Yeah, so she sees the little girl and then they talk and then she goes back to bed, but then she's seen too much.
Yeah. Chris is there, and then he's like, you need to go to bed, and then Birkin, right?
Birkin. A doctor at the orphanage.
Yes. Who's there after hours, hanging out, doing paperwork. He's like, oh, what a good brother looking after your sister. And then he's like, go to bed.
And then later on,
then you see creepy Lisa full on.
They take her out of the bed and are like, oh, you got adopted.
Yeah, there's people here at the middle of the night to adopt you.
And then they're going to adopt your brother later, so just come with us.
Secret and quietly.
And then they, take her to the back room where Lisa was, and then she runs away. And that happens in segments.
Yeah, you get a little bit of Claire's story, because you hear that she runs away, but you don't fully know why. But, I mean, you kind of know why, because it's super creepy.
Yeah. I was
like creepy-ass doll, creepy-ass girl.
When I saw that, because I was like, is she going to be, experimented on, and it's going to be some weird-ass umbrella Claire's experimented on? No, she ran away, and I was okay with it. And the way that they split it up, made sense. I wasn't super irritated by the fact I was like, what is happening? When they went back to when Claire was talking about her past, and then they went back to the past, it wasn't too jarring.
No.
So that's nice.
It was nice cuts. Good editing.
I was afraid they were going to go backwards a lot more.
All right, so modern day Claire, she was sleeping in a truck with this truck driver and his
dog.
Doberman dog. And she's like, you're hitchhiking and you changed the station? Rude, Claire.
Claire is super rude. Okay, one thing I have to say. The women in Resident Evil kick ass and are awesome, and I love them. The women in this movie, the way that they interpreted Jill and Claire, I'm like, so terrible.
Yeah.
Rude.
I mean, they were more competent than the male characters.
It doesn't matter.
But
they
were
supposed to be equal.
Rude. The truck driver is like, why you want to go back to Raccoon City? What a dump, right? And he touches her leg creepily, and then
he runs over a girl
who's like plastered on his truck for a good mile as he's trying to stop. She of course hits the ground. Claire gets out, and the guy's freaking out it's not my fault.
Claire's like, we need to wrap up his body. So I thought she was going to hide it. I was like, oh, so she's going to just cover this up. All right. No, she's like, my brother's a cop.
You need to take it with us. And he's like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything wrong. Not my fault. And then as they're arguing, the girl just gets up and walks away.
She doesn't want to be here.
No. She's like, these people will be whining about killing me.
So yeah, we just get back in the car and move on.
Well, the dog
was licking the blood.
Yeah, he went to go get a taste. And then they just get back in the truck.
And they drive to Raccoon City.
You're like, that was weird. Then, we see the welcome to Raccoon City sign that someone very nicely in graffiti.
Fuck Umbrella. All my homies hate Umbrella.
All right. And then we also get a weird opening, written thing that you gotta read that they narrate as well.
They don't narrate. That was me reading it out loud.
Someone
I'm sorry, I'm just so good. No, it was me.
I thought it was a dude. Maybe I'm thinking about the first movie because that was definitely narrated.
It's just so good.
Yeah, welcome to Raccoon City. Umbrella is leaving Raccoon with only a skeleton crew and all the poor people.
Yep, I guess everyone left, kind of.
But Birkin's still there though, and he lives in a nice house.
Weird. They should have just not have said that.
He like the only one that lives.
It literally should have just been like everyone's still there.
It was really weird. I guess like in the book it said that Raccoon City employs like 75%, right, of the town.
We did read that. Okay, what's crazy is this movie seems like it's based more on that novel than the game, because they had stuff in that novel that did not happen in the game that happened in the movie that I was like, wait, what?
So if you can go back and listen to our
yeah, we read the novelization of the first game.
Then there's some like jump cuts. There's a guy in like a hotel room, and the weird thing was his alarm goes off. It's 4:52 is what the alarm clock said.
I don't know how you saw that.
It's all the like murder things that I look at. It's like, look at the time. So I looked at the clock this time. Yeah, it was 4:52, and like it's Leon, and he's hungover. So Hair the dog just drinks the beer that's right next to his hotel bed.
Yes, he's staying in a hotel. It's funny that he wakes up with a sheet on his head. Do people do that? Full sheet, just ghost.
If you're like super under the covers, maybe startled awake. I don't know. But then he goes back to sleep at the diner, which is like across the street or something.
He's in a weird diner with the other Stars members, but he's not a Stars member.
And
but
he doesn't know them.
Stars isn't a thing in this movie.
They don't know that.
They're just cops.
Yeah, they're the night crew. And Wesker is stacking a ketchup container on his head because he's passed out at
Get punked, idiot.
And it's 11:17.
Oh, and Jill point a gun at him?
Yeah. Because they're like, I'll pay you if you shoot off the ketchup. And then so she's like, all right. So she takes her gun out and points it at him.
So unprofessional.
In the middle of the diner. And he's like, no, dummy, with this dart gun. And so she shoots Wesker in the forehead with the dart gun. And then somehow reloads it really quickly and shoots the ketchup thing.
So yeah,
and then steals a sandwich.
For some reason, hanging out at this diner. I don't know why.
Before work.
Oh, so Leon's just there before work?
Yeah.
So he didn't know these guys. Why is he there? Why are they there?
To get some coffee and some food, I guess.
And then some other cops come in and harass Leon, and they're actually on the job.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta go to this Spencer mansion. Someone found a dead body there.
And they're also like, hey, Leon, you shot your partner. You're from...
In the butt.
And now you're in this hick town.
And your dad must be someone important.
Didn't say anything, and then once everyone leaves, Leon talks to the waitress lady who is starting to get more infected.
Her eyeball starts bleeding, and she's like, oh, it's been happening for the last couple weeks. And Leon's like, maybe you should get that checked out.
And she's like, nah.
It'll probably go away. If your eyeball is bleeding, that's like a serious issue. And especially if it's been bleeding for like 2 weeks. And it's funny because her name is Louise, but it's at Emmy's Diner. I don't know if that's like a homage to something, but
I don't know either. I mean, it might be an actual diner in 2. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. There's no Kendo gun shop, and that's the only thing I remember in 2.
Then we go back to Claire. She got dropped off by the truck driver, and she like bounces. They don't have that long of a conversation.
Yeah, so she goes to her brother's house, and she's trying to get into the front door, and it's not working. So she goes to the back door. And then she sees the neighbor kid staring at her through a window.
Creepy ass neighbor kid.
He doesn't have a lot of hair.
And you said looked like Chucky.
She waves at him and he waves back. Yep. And then the mom shows up and then she also is losing her hair and then closes the curtain. Mm-hmm. And anyway, Claire doesn't want to be here for that long. So she's not waiting for her brother to get done waxing his chest.
Yeah.
So she...
pouring down rain.
So she busts in. She uses a knife. Breaks
his lock.
Breaks his lock. Walks in. Starts looking through his stuff.
Like, puts on his old football helmet.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why
and then, like, eats the pizza that's sitting out. And then after she takes a bite of it, then she smells it. And is like, gross. But I'm like, you smell it first.
Claire's weird.
So
anyway,
weird.
You want to know the reason why she's here? Because Chris came down from the waxing because he's got to go to work.
That's what the joke is. She's like, you should knock. And she's like, what are you, waxing your chest now?
Yes, because he had to be shirtless for that scene.
Yes.
He came down shirtless to put his shirt because he left his shirt downstairs. You know how it is, guys. Anyway, she's like, I have to show you this video. I was web chatting with some guy on the internet forums.
Chatting? Chat rooms. And she's like, it's a place you talk on the internet. And then she pulls out a VHS.
She puts it in his VHS player, and it's a video that this guy sent her. That's like, Umbrella's poisoning the water supply.
Ben Bertolucci. It's in the water. The town's been poisoned.
Umbrella's evil. And then Chris is like, I gotta go to work.
Yeah,
your conspiracy theories were never true. Goodbye.
And apparently there's a picture of him and that doctor from the orphanage. And he's like family to me because you left. But when would she have left?
Well, she ran away.
But like when she was like 8?
Yeah, I assuming.
But she knows who the high school football team is?
Go Bandits.
Trash Bandits.
Maybe she still stayed in town, perhaps.
What's the lore in the game?
She came in to see her brother in the game because he disappeared because of the events of the first game. And she goes to a college in a different town. She rode her motorcycle in to see what's wrong. She's not responding to her messages. But not in this!
Not in this one. She does ride a motorcycle, but it's Chris's, and she stole it.
She came to tell him a conspiracy theory.
About Raccoon City. And he's like, why'd you come back then?
So anyway, he's going to work.
Yeah.
She's staying.
Then there's a scream, and it's a little girl. She's like, Mommy, Daddy, I saw monsters. And then it's...
Oh, it's the Birkins.
It's the Birkins. And then they get a call on the bat phone. He's like, we gotta go.
Order 66 is a go. Get out of here.
And then the alarm starts to go off, and they're like, pack all your stuff. We're leaving.
Or they're gonna try to leave.
They're not gonna leave. He's gotta go get his...
Yeah, so Birkin, his wife Annette, and his daughter Sherry are gonna drive away. Moving to the next scene.
Get your stuff. We need to go now. Alarms go off. And that brings us to the shot from the town, which says, this is Umbrella. Attention, town. This is Umbrella. Please stay in your house and await for further instructions.
Yep.
Sounds legit.
Do we go to the police station first, or do we have the Claire thing first?
It's the Claire thing. Because that comes on, and then she's like, why aren't you sick, brother?
Well, she says that, but he's gone. She's looking at his water. Yeah. She's sniffing around. She's like turning on the faucet and sniffing the water. She's kind of a freak.
Yeah.
She may be right.
But she ate the pizza that's just sitting on the counter.
Well, she's a weirdo. Yeah. And I love Claire. It's kind of upsetting to see her be like this. So she looked out the window and she saw that the neighbor lady wrote something in blood.
I thought it was on the door.
Is it a door?
Yeah, it was on his back door.
Oh.
And it was backwards, and so we were trying to read it.
Yeah, I was like...
we're like, what does that say?
It's itchy tasty.
So then it flips to the back side of the lady, and it says itchy tasty.
Which, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It's so goofy, itchy tasty, though.
Like
when I read it in the game, I was like, this is silly.
And then it was in the book.
Then it was in the book.
And then all of a sudden, the front door just opens. Was it unlocked?
The lady walks away after writing itchy tasty.
Yeah.
And then cries a little bit of blood from her eyeball. And then
the front door just opens.
And you hear this scuttle. And then this kid runs under the table and just stands there
he's sitting on the table and he's looking at the front door.
Yeah, on 4 hands and knees, and she slowly, this is Claire slowly bends down, pulls open the thing, and is like, can I help you?
She's like, do you need help?
Do you need help?
And he's like, no, but you do.
And then the mom who just wrote itchy tasty bursts through the door.
The back door, which I'm so confused with.
And tries to attack Claire.
Yeah, because the back door was the door that was actually open because she broke the lock in the back. But the front door wasn't unlocked because she couldn't get in. Did Chris leave out the front door? And
I don't know. There's a side door.
Yeah, there was. It was weird.
So she grabs Chris's motorcycle and sets out of there.
The lady also says itchy tasty to her before
in her ear.
Yeah, it was gross.
And then itched her face a lot.
Yeah, all the people are losing their hair and bleeding out of their eyeballs, and they have that sickly sheen to them, which looks like their skin is about to come off.
It's do you think Umbrella had a time when everyone would go turn full zombie, or do you think?
Well, Ben Bertolucci, who is our internet chat room guy, I think he says that there was an accident. Like, they didn't expect it to happen this soon. It's because something happened. There was an accident that got released, and then they decided to cover it up by just leaving.
Well, normally that was the first game, Spencer Mansion incident, but because that is happening at the same friggin' time, I don't know what it was.
But it also is going to take a while for them to fully leave the town. I figure that this has been happening for months.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure between 1 and 2, it like takes place over a couple of months.
Yeah.
And people are slowly turning. So now we're in the police station, right?
Yeah, we're RPD. It's now midnight, and you talked about Jill's outfit choices.
That was weird. I get that you want to show your really hot arms, Jill, but like it's like a skin tight vest that has the little RPD logo on it.
You're gonna need a full sleeve shirt for today's operation.
Nobody's wearing a full sleeve shirt. Not a single person, except for Claire. Claire has a jacket on.
Yeah, she's got that red jacket.
A motorcycle jacket. She was ready.
Yes. She's like, I know I'm gonna steal my brother's bike, so I gotta be dressed for the part.
I kind of wish I know they dressed her up like the remake Claire, but I almost wish they added the bike shorts Claire with the pink.
But it's like also pouring down rain outside, and these people are not wearing like jackets or anything.
Nope, and the water supply.
Yes.
It's in the air.
We are having a little meet cute with the whole team here. And
we have two guys that look the freaking same. So you have Brad Vickers, who is the pilot, and he's getting like shat on by Chris.
Yeah, he's like, why are you even here? We don't have a chopper anymore. But then they have a chopper.
Yeah, so there's Brad Vickers, and then there's Richard Aiken, who looks the same as Brad Vickers.
One has a mustache, though.
They are both blonde,
yeah,
little white boys that have like a side swipe, and they have curly hair.
Yes, but one has a mustache.
How do you expect me to tell the difference between those two guys?
I don't know. This should have gone a little different.
Honestly, though, if the person playing Wesker and the guy playing Chris had the same hair color, I would not have been able to tell them apart.
They're also like the action hero.
They're action hero. They got the little scruff and they got the classic haircut, and they're both like slightly beefy. You know, like
one's got really dark hair.
They look like Nathan Drake.
One's got sandy blonde hair.
I guess Brad and Richard.
I feel like the late 90s, though, they wouldn't have had short hair.
Somebody needs to have frosted tips.
Yes. Come on, Nine. And then I like how Chief Irons is like talking about what's happening.
The two teammates went to the Spencer Mansion.
Well, Leon's like, what's the Spencer Mansion? And then like Irons is like, well, the Spencer Mansion was from the originator of the Umbrella Company. Why the fuck are you here?
Yeah. Which like Leon's like, you said everyone come meet in the room.
It's like, who's gonna answer at the door when
like,
a woman
not
loses
you.
her cat?
I feel bad for Leon. It was funny, but I feel bad because he's like, not you, Leon. And he's like, but you said everyone come in here.
Yeah. It's like, who's gonna answer the door when a lady can't find her cat?
So he has to go back to the front desk.
And he's got his Walkman.
Yeah, he's gonna take his Walkman.
Playing a little, it's just a little crush.
Yeah. I mean, Irons doesn't really tell them, like, anything.
No, Irons, he's like, what's going on? And he's like, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. I have no idea.
It's like, true story. And then Wesker's, because it's the 90s, has a pager, and it's like, it's time.
Yeah, he got a message.
Go to your locker.
He got paged. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. So he goes to his locker and he finds a PDA.
Yes, and it's got messages and reading things on there that I didn't read it. So.
It said that Raccoon City's guy exploded
at 6 a.m. That's important information.
That's the only thing you need to read on the pager.
So they're going to go to the Spencer Mansion.
Because they haven't heard from the two guys in a while.
The beta team.
But Irons is just going to dip.
Bravo team, beta team. Bravo team went to the Spencer Mansion.
Because they're investigating a guy who they found that got chewed up.
Yeah.
At the Spencer Mansion.
Mm-hmm. There's a dead body. So they're like, okay, get in the chopper. I'm like, the other guys didn't have the chopper. They were in their truck.
Yeah, they just drove there.
Yeah, so... But now we're taking the chopper to the Spencer Mansion.
Found randomly when we were looking in the garage. We were like, there's the helicopter. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Oh, and then we get in the car with William Birkin, and the wife's like, why aren't we leaving? And he's like, they're going to destroy my life's work.
That's why he didn't leave in the first place, probably.
He's going to the lab with his family. Like, take a second car and let your family leave. But I guess they wouldn't have gone very far. Because Irons also tries to leave, which was funny.
Iron tries to leave. He tells Leon he's in charge and he needs to lock up.
Yeah.
Because that truck driver got bit.
Yeah, so the dog,
By the dog.
had cataracts and massive drools, bit the truck driver. The truck driver's truck, full of gas, crashes into RPD.
The front of the RPD.
Mm-hmm.
And then the truck driver walks in on fire while the Crush song is playing, which is kind of sick, and then just dies.
And, well, he gets shot.
Oh.
Iron shoots him. Because Leon is just like, what the crap?
Leon was napping.
Yeah, and he's like, there's a guy on fire. And then
he's like, should we call an ambulance or something? And he's like, I think that guy's there. He's beyond.
Yeah, he's
hope.
like,
just
get a fire extinguisher. He's like, I don't think he's coming back from that.
So Leon locks the gates and the doors and then goes up to see Irons and is like, you gonna tell me what's happening? And Irons is like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, he's packing up his little box full of all of his desk trinkets.
You're in charge. Bye.
Yeah.
So
you've been promoted. I'm just a rookie. Congratulations.
Iron is trying to leave. He drives into the, I guess, exit alleyway.
There's the guys with the gas masks who just shooting up civilians.
Yep, because the civilians obviously are mad that they can't leave.
Yes.
So they get, feisty, and then they get shot, and then Irons is getting shot at, so he just backs up and drives back to the RPD.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't lock the gate, but close the gate behind him either.
In the parking garage?
When he comes back into the parking garage,
he doesn't.
He doesn't close the door. The chopper found Bravo team. The car was flipped over. There's large gashes in it, and
I couldn't really tell because I couldn't see.
Yeah, it's really
I just knew it was car.
There's no one in the car, but then there's a creepy bird on top of it.
Zombie bird. And then Jill shoots it, even though it was really close to Chris's face.
Wesker's face. Yeah, he's like, what the crap, Jill Valentine?
Jill Valentine is like pointing her guns at her teammates all the time.
She's the best shot.
She is flagging people. I think it's what it's called when you put your gun in front of people that you didn't mean to shoot.
And then so they go to the Spencer mansion, which the lights are on in the foyer, but nowhere else in the freaking house.
Nope.
So we're getting it from the lights that we see are from their guns. So it's kind of cool. Dark. It's kind of cool. There's some
although it's kind of barfy sometimes.
That's the shot.
They're
That's
wiggling it around.
They are. So Wesker's like, let's split up, and Chris is like, what are you talking about? He's like, we find them faster, we get out of here faster. And Valentine's like, I'll go with you, Wesker.
Oh yeah, she's a crush on Wesker.
She loves him. Chris likes Valentine, so they split up, and what's that guy's name? Richard. So yeah. Richard and Chris, they walk up the stairs, and immediately there's like blood on the wall. Mm-hmm. And no one says anything.
They just look at it. They point their light at it. They just kind of walk by.
Right.
Strange.
Decorative choices.
Color theory.
So the guy in the gas mask after the shooting, when Irons leaves, he's like, Raccoon City is locked and secured, but not really, because the people in the town are starting to turn. Mm-hmm. But I guess the perimeter is locked and secured, so
I guess
whatever. It's like 1:50, 2 a.m.
Oh yeah, they're counting every time they switch shots. It's basically a new time.
Yeah. So remember, we have until 6. So at like 1:50, we're at the RPD when Irons comes back, and there's some funny sounds.
Yeah, there's like squishing because we had the subtitles on. Yeah. So it was like gurgling, moaning, squishing sounds. Yeah. When he drives back into the RPD, scrunching, the RPD parking garage, and then he gets attacked by a dog. Honestly, not what I expected.
You think it's the dog from the truck, even though the truck blew up when the guy was on fire?
I mean, probably.
Because that's the only dog I remember seeing.
Didn't he get attacked by a couple of dogs?
Does he shoot it? I thought it was just
it's hard to tell. A dog tried to attack him. He tried to shoot at it, and then he shot up, and then he shot.
I was like, you're being attacked by a dog, but you're shooting like in the air.
He thinks the dog's gonna be on the ceiling.
And he's got the stupidest gun because you have to hand load it.
But Claire saves him.
Yes, with a fire extinguisher, and then Leon's like, "Drop your gun!
Drop the fire extinguisher! I need that.
I don't have a gun."
There's a fire in the lobby. Give me that.
And then she's like, we need more guns. Let's go to the armory.
Good plan.
But first, they got to stare out the window. Then it's 2 a.m. and we're back at the Spencer mansion.
Expansion.
There's still no lights. Wesker
Story of this movie
is walking.
We fired all the lighting people for this movie.
He's walking
and we
with
filmed
Jill.
it at night.
And this takes place all in one night. Besides the flashback sequences, but
which is also at night.
There's no day in Raccoon City. Yeah. I guess till the very end. There's day, like 6 a.m. There's the cow. There's daylight with the cow. Wesker has his little map, and Jill's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "I'll tell you in a minute." It's like, you could have just told her it was a map.
It's a map. But then she's gonna ask more questions, and he doesn't want to tell her that he got this from being sneaky and gross.
Yeah. And then we go back to Chris and Richard. They see a lab coat guy, and he's chomping on Bravo team.
Yeah, I don't remember this guy's name. I'm gonna call him Dooley because it's the only one I remember.
No, Dooley's the other guy. This is like Minestrone or
Minestrone to Bravo team. Anyway, he's getting eaten, slurped up with some sauce.
The lab coat slowly turns around, and then
the Resident Evil shot.
Ba-boom, ba-boom, they shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris is like...
tries to save Ravioli. But he can't.
Got so much blood coming out of his mouth that there's no way. And
he was eating his neck.
Yeah.
You need this. You need this thing.
For the breath.
I don't know what he's trying to do, but his best. Anyway,
the other guy goes to find the other second Bravo team.
He's like, that guy's beyond saving. Yeah. He goes up the stairs, but that was a mistake.
Yeah. Should have stayed together. Yeah, this is when we got really confused on who was who, because we're like, is that Brad? Or is that...
Because it cuts to another scene where it is Brad.
Yeah.
In the helicopter.
He's just...
listening to music.
He's listening to Poor Non-Blondes.
And then there's
playing Snake on his Nokia.
And there's a scratch.
Honestly, I was just missing the Blockbuster somewhere in the town.
Oh, yeah, they did bring that up. Irons was like, you're going to take your date to Blockbuster and Planet Hollywood? And I was like, I get it, this is old.
In the 90s.
Anyway, that was a long time ago. We're back to Brad playing Snake.
Yeah, but turns out it doesn't really matter which one they are because they both die.
Yeah, so he gets attacked by a zombie in the helicopter. And then we cut back to...
Vickers gets eaten and the plane crash happens.
So when Vickers went upstairs after Ravioli got eaten...
It's Richard. Vickers is in the plane.
Richard goes upstairs after...
And so he sees a gun on the ground, and then there's a guy behind him, and he, cocks his gun, and then a guy from the side comes at him. But he's like, I got both of these guys.
And then he goes into a hallway, and then he gets just, taken over by, eight
because
zombies.
Chris has got, 6 zombies on him, and so he goes to save Chris, and then he gets pushed against the wall and gets,
Chris
hickied.
Has 8 zombies on him, and they're holding him down, and I'm like, Chris is gonna die.
They're not biting him at all. He should have been dead.
But he's fine.
Yeah. And then
Richard is now dead.
Yeah, so they're shooting, and why the other people don't hear them, I don't know. But Vickers got attacked in the plane, and then all of a sudden flies the helicopter into the Spencer building.
So was he a zombie and then flew it kind of like the truck driver? Or was he half turning and was like, I gotta get out of here. But guess who was in that room? It was Wesker. Jill and Wesker.
Yeah, because Wesker was playing her a little tune on the piano.
Yeah, they went into a study room and he found a piano and he's like, hold up a second, I gotta play this.
let me check my BlackBerry.
I told him the puzzle results, which I wish I had a magical BlackBerry in Resident Evil that told me the puzzle results. He plays it. A door opens, and then Jill looks out the window, and it's like, oh shit, the helicopter's coming! Mm-hmm. And then the helicopter crashes into their window and explodes. But they make it out okay.
Yeah. And then we're back at RPD. It's now 2:29, so that all took place in 29 minutes. Lots of things happening. All the guns are gone in the armory, except for
one shotgun
and one bulletproof vest.
Yep.
So Claire's like, Leon, you're gonna need this vest.
Yeah, you're gonna need this vest, Leon. But I'll take this shotgun because Leon's like, this gun doesn't work, it's jammed or something. And he's pointing it upside down, shaking it.
Yeah, she's just like, let me show you how to do that. He's like, how do you know how to do all that stuff? She's like, I ran away and I learned some gun stuff.
I guess.
I take care of myself with guns.
Okay. When I was 8 and I ran away from the orphanage, I found a shotgun on the ground.
And then Leon's like, you're probably wondering why a guy like me is here. Me too.
That was it.
Yes.
And then they hear someone screaming from the basement. So she's like, go check that out, Leon, you're the cop.
I guess because it's his first day, but don't you not get like a tour of the
He never
facility?
got a tour yet.
Because there's 2 people in the cell in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is our online chat friend.
We're meeting him IRL now.
And he was not a catfish.
He looks exactly the same.
I think it's in the same outfit too.
Mhm.
He's been gone offline for a couple days.
So he's in the cell with this guy who's coughing up blood, and Leon's like, "Is that guy okay?" And this guy's being snarky and is like, "Oh yeah, people just cough up blood when they're sick. Let me out of this cage!"
He's like, the keys are in the desk, and then so Leon's like, "All right," and oh no, he grabbed.
Well,
his gun.
yeah, because he gets closer to him.
Yeah.
And
like manhandles him all over the place and then like grabs his gun.
What's his name? Bob?
I think his name is Ben.
Ben, chat room dweeb, grabs Leon and grabs his gun and points a gun at him and is like, get the keys from the desk.
Ben Bertolucci.
Leon's like, all right, you don't have to be an asshole about
it. And of course, none of the keys work until like the last one.
And he opens the door, and then the guy in the cell bites Ben.
Beefaroni. Right in the neck.
Ben Biscotti. Gets eaten. Yeah, right in the neck.
And then like walks towards Leon, and Leon's like, whoa man, dude.
Whoa. But okay, to be fair, Leon has not had to deal with the zombies yet.
But he did see a guy on fire.
He saw a guy, well, not really, was a napping. He saw that guy dead. On the floor.
Just like straight walked into the building on fire. Like calm as
He doesn't know about the zombie thing yet, really. All he's seen is people at the front gates of the RPD being like, help me, and then being gross, and then
like losing their hair in chunks.
Anyway, he gets attacked by the guy in the cell, and that guy gets shot by Claire.
Yes.
And then they go see, and she's like, oh no, Ben! But he's been eaten in the stomach.
Yeah.
Like, his stomach's open. I was like, when did this zombie have the time to do that? He just ate his neck.
Maybe he took a handful for later.
He just, like, bit his neck and then went after Leon, so I think this was a weird cut.
Well, and then Claire's also like, get your shit together, Leon, if you want to survive. And then he just, like, unloads on the zombie.
Yeah, the zombie wakes back up, and Leon's pretty pissed.
But I don't remember shooting him in the head. I think he
off.
just shot him. And then...
That did it.
Oh, the Ben Barfaroni. Bertolucci. Whatever, Ben. He tells Leon that he's like, oh, you wonder why you're not sick? Like, did you get a little shot? Were you taking your vitamin pills? He's the conspiracy nut, and he tells us why the RPD is okay when everyone else is losing their hair.
Because they got shots.
Because they're taking their vitamins.
Take your vitamins. Avoid being zombified.
Brought to you by Umbrella. And, but he's like, it won't last for long. But he also is not losing his hair, although he has a weird haircut. So he must be taking the same vitamins.
Well, he just been drinking the water.
Oh, because he says it's in the water?
Yeah, and that's why when she's like, how are you not sick, Chris? And smells the water and drinks or looks at the water, it's because he's been taking his vitamins. He's been putting Crystal Light in his water.
Saw that Mio.
Just been drinking Fiji water.
Oh no, it's the emergency. Like I got taking my, what is that, airborne.
Put it in my water.
Yeah. And okay, so now we're back to Wesker and Jill,
who get out of the rubble. I don't know how they survived that.
That helicopter like lit on fire.
Exploded.
And
they just come out of the rubble like they were like, oh, thank goodness that this piece of wood saved me from fire.
And then Wesker's like, you saved my life. And then he's like, opens a secret passage, and she's like, what the crap, dude? And he's like, I gotta go. Someone's paying me a crap ton of money to do this. And she's like, you're not gonna come help our friends? You betrayed us. Yeah. And he's like, I can't. And then he turns around and leaves, and then she goes to find Chris.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. No notes. She is now over her crush because he is a douchebag.
All in it for the money. Not friendship.
And now there's zombies at the RPD because they're all leaving and they broke down the gate.
Yeah, enough zombies managed to break down that metal gate.
And then they're all like, our trio is like running away, but the zombies are walking, but yet they catch up.
It's crazy how fast the zombies catch up. They must have all been running zombies.
And then a zombie comes out of nowhere from the other side.
Yeah, they have terrible security there.
And then Irons is like, I know where to go. We have to go to this mountain.
To go to the Arclay Mountains, we have to get a helicopter.
Yeah, that's the only way we can leave because the roads are all closed down. Like you can't go around the roads.
But then they don't. They go to the orphanage.
Yeah, because they got to get to the Spencer mansion.
So they're going to the orphanage.
Yeah, there's a secret passage from the orphanage to the Spencer mansion. It's 4 a.m. It's still so freaking dark. They're at the orphanage. Claire's like, "Why are we here?"
Claire does not want to be there.
And so they're arguing, and Leon sees this like
Lisa,
creepy ass girl, and she says shh, and then she points up, but no, he's so dumb, he's not listening at all because he's like shouting.
Yeah. He's like, come on, check this out, guys. This is weird.
Yeah.
And Claire runs up, and Lisa's gone.
And he's like, there was a girl.
There was a girl there. It's weird. And then Irons comes behind, and it's like, what are you guys yelling about? And then he gets lit.
Yeah.
Son. The liquor comes from the ceiling and just, like, obliterates Irons. His head is on the ground now.
I thought that this liquor is the smallest liquor I've seen out of any of the Resident Evil stuff.
Really?
Yeah. The Resident Evil movie we watched last time, it was gigantic. The one from the show is pretty large too, but it was like the size of a normal person.
I think it's supposed to be an experiment on person,
but it's not gonna beef them up like they do everyone else.
Because in the game, I thought it looked pretty accurate to what I assumed it would look like in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a person with like an exposed brain and a really long tongue. I don't know why you would want to make that, but you do you, Umbrella. They're trying to sell these as weapons or whatever.
But they can climb walls and stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of big. They got like the tyrant claws.
Like it comes after them, and then Lisa comes out of nowhere
and just rips its head off.
So
she
also
jumps on it.
Yeah,
she was badass.
Kick ass. She has all the keys, but yet she doesn't have the keys to unlock her hands because she's got like a wooden thing between her holding her hands.
She does not have the keys to unlock her hands. She's wearing shackles, like old school shackles, but she jumps on the liquor and she puts her shackles around its neck and just like breaks its neck. And then she's like, Claire. But yeah, like that.
And Claire's like, Lisa? Why have I aged and you not?
I think she has aged. Lisa? She's taller. She's got longer arms now.
She has the same like black fingernails though.
So she's like, Lisa, you know how to get to the secret underground facility to the mansion, don't you? And Lisa does know.
Yes. Takes
her to the spooky child room that they hung out in before. Gives her the Resident Evil 2 keys.
That keyhole was not hiding anything.
She opens the keyhole, which is
like it's an elevator. Second one. And then Leon's like, "You've got some weird friends."
So now they're taking an elevator down to the Spencer mansion,
so she can go get her brother.
Yep.
And now it's 4:23. Why is it always 23 minutes?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And Chris is shooting a zombie. And now all the lights are gone and we can only see it through like gun bursts.
Yeah, I thought that would be cool, but honestly it kind of made me a little barfy.
Yeah, it's very strobe lighty. I mean, it was cool. So like he shoots and then you see the zombie and then they're like closer and then
I feel like that would have been cool in the theater. And honestly, in the theater, I probably would have seen a lot more of what was happening.
Maybe. And then he, for some reason, puts his gun down and takes out his lighter. Did he run out of shots?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so he takes out his lighter.
Which he definitely should have been dead like 20 times.
Classic Chris move. And then he sees Dooley.
Yes.
And his lighter
donuts. Then
his lighter goes out, and then it comes back on, and he gets a little bit closer every single time. But then the final jump scare, they blew it.
Yeah, he lights it, and then there's no one around for like the longest time
because he comes from the side, and you can see Chris's face. Anyway, he manages to kill Dooley.
I thought Jill does.
Jill does.
Because she should have shot Chris as well, because she's just machine gunning like the whole thing, and Chris definitely should have died.
Still trying to shoot her teammates, I see.
Yeah, she's like, Vickers is dead. Wesker betrayed us, but we have to follow him to get out of this place. Yeah. He's like, all right, let's go. But he doesn't even tell her about Richard.
Nope. No one cares about Richard.
No one cares about Richard. Maltese Falcon all over again. We go back to Claire, and she's now in a film reel place in the mansion.
And she decides
for some old movies. I'm so glad someone rewound it for her.
So she turned it on, and it's the beginning cutscene of Code Veronica with the two Ashford twins.
The blonde, creepy kids that are taking
dragonfly wings and then feeding them to ants. And I was like, okay, so are they going to make a Code Veronica movie next? Is this like a thing for that? Which honestly, if this did well, they probably would have done that next.
But if you did not know anything about Resident Evil, it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And then she gets all mad because there's a book, a ledger, that basically has all the kids that they experimented on. But I like how they have a red stamp that says dangerous, because that's what they stamped all over Lisa's fan page. And then there's a whole list of kids, and they all basically just say deceased. So they have a stamp that says deceased and a stamp that says dangerous.
So she pitches a hissy fit and rips all of those pages out, and Leon's like, whoa, chill out, we gotta keep going.
She's like, it could have happened to me. And then she gets her act together. And then the Birkin family is in the lab.
Birkin's trying to grab his G virus, T virus, whatever virus.
Yes, his life work. And why he took his kid to the lab where there's a person who's open up and awake and is like, help me.
Yeah.
And like they're being
his
dissected.
wife is like, what are you doing here? And he was like, God's work.
God's work. And then Wesker shows up and is like, hey, that thing you just packaged for me, I'm gonna need that.
Yeah, give me that, please. And Birkin's like, no.
Who do you work for? And he's like, don't worry about it.
And Birkin tries to shoot Wesker, and then Wesker just unloads on
Birkin. They shoot
Birkin.
each other, yeah.
And Birkin's on the ground, and then he's like, give me the vials, Annette. I need the vials.
And then he like sneaks her the gun.
Yeah, so Annette is giving him the injection of the vials, I'm assuming?
I think she gives him the shot while he gives her the
gun?
Yeah, because he shoots himself. He shoots up himself.
And so...
She goes then to shoot Wesker, and Wesker just like clocks her in the head.
Like, yeah, give me that. She points a gun at him and he just shoots her. And then Sherry, the little girl, runs away. And he's like, where'd the little girl go?
Yeah, and then you see Wesker, like, had the syringe in his hand. And she would have had to put the syringe, like, in the vial. Because they were just vials.
Yeah.
And then give it to him. That was not in the scene that we saw. That would have taken too long.
What I'm assuming is that one of the vials may have, like, dripped into his open wound.
But he had a syringe in his hand.
I don't know. Anyway,
logic.
He gets ejected with it somehow. And Sherry decides to point a gun at Wesker.
Yeah, she comes out and she's got the gun, and Wesker's like, crap, it's a kid. And then he's gonna shoot her, though.
He's gonna shoot her, and then Jill shoots him first.
Mm-hmm. And then she, like, laughs about it.
Yeah. She finally got to shoot a teammate. She's been wanting to do that this whole movie. She finally gets to shoot a teammate.
She's like, you're gonna be okay.
Too bad it's her boyfriend. Like, she's sad about it, but I'm like, honestly, she's girl, upset. If you're such a good shot, then you should have shot him...
like in the shoulder or
like
something.
Unwoundedly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever, girl. You do you.
Yeah, and then because we know that Chris, like, spent a lot of time at Birkin's lab, like, he knows Sherry, and...
yeah, so he's like, okay, Sherry, it's gonna be okay. Yeah. And now
and
Chris
then
and Jill are gonna be the one carrying around Sherry instead of Leon and Claire, which is super weird, but whatever.
At the end of that, like, Wesker tries to good guy it, where he's like, I was wrong, but this place is gonna explode at 6 a.m.
Here, Jill, take my PDA.
Take the train.
Get out of here. So they take the elevator that was right there, and they dipped.
And then Claire and Leon, it's like cuts between Claire and Leon, and then you see Birkin start to change, and then we see Chris, Jill, and Sherry, and Chris is like too fat to fit through the door that the little girls opened, because Jill's pretty small, and so he's like, hide, and we don't really see them.
No, we don't really see them, because he's about to get attacked by Birkin.
Chris, come out and play.
Yeah, Birkin's taunting him for some reason.
You would never be part of my family.
It's super weird.
It's so rude.
There's
like,
no
so unnecessary
reason for him to attack Chris.
Your sister's so smart. Why are you so dumb?
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's kind of mean. If it's any consolation, his sister's also a whack job. So yeah. They fight, kind of.
He just kind of like throws him against the wall and is going to
skewer him with his tyrant hand.
And then he gets shot. But...
he looks like, so the way that they did him was like half tyrant, half the Birkin thing, which was interesting, which kind of makes sense because they're combining the first game and second game, but I was a little bit disappointed. I wanted actual Birkin, but we do get Birkin level 3 later on, so he just skips ahead.
Yeah, so Claire shot Birkin,
and it's like, my brother, I found you.
Yeah, but Chris is the one that ends up killing him, sort of. He doesn't really die, but
just double taps him in the head.
Yeah.
And
then they're like, we're out. Yes. And they're like, rookie. And he's like, yeah, I'm surprised too. Leon's like,
Leon's just also there.
I don't know what's going on.
We made it to the train.
Yeah, Birkin's moving again. It's now 6 a.m. and the mansion implodes.
Implodes, not explodes, implodes, which is disappointing.
And then it like there's a ripple effect and like a cow gets taken out.
Yeah, the town is like turning into a big sinkhole instead of exploding. Like, I'm pretty sure in the game they like drop a bomb on it and explode the whole town. Because you can still, like, if something implodes,
Yeah.
get stuff from underground with all the documents, but I'm not Umbrella. Whatever.
I guess it's more like a natural phenomenon than an explosion. I don't know. I think explosion would be easier to explain
Just say
away.
something exploded, yeah.
Yeah. So the tyrant's back. Birkin's back. And he has reached his ultimate level. He grabs Claire and is like throwing her around the cable car.
They're in the train, by the way.
And then she has a knife somehow.
And she stabs his face. Because
like
his
Birkin's face.
Very small in this monster.
Where like the eyeball
on its
was
chest
before.
kind of thing.
And then that didn't work, so it just killed the human part of him, and then
now it's full monster. But luckily Leon's here with the rocket launcher.
But everyone else is like super close to Birkin, like the little girl, Chris. They're like standing right next to him. And Claire's still there.
He just Birkin they would with the all rocket launcher.
Freaking die,
and they all flew. Yeah, it was kind of rude of Leon to do that, but whatever.
He could have been like, "Step back,
everyone, get behind me."
I like how he knows how to use a rocket launcher, but not a shotgun.
That is funny.
He's like, "Oh, it's just hanging around on one of the first class." I'm like, why are they not in first class then? Why is everyone in the cattle car?
It's weird that it's like Jill and Leon in the front, and then in the back was Chris, Claire, and Sherry
in like a crappy car. I'm like, there's seats up front.
Anyway, Birkin's dead.
Then a weird thing comes on the screen where it's like a report.
Yeah,
incident report.
Incident report. Basically, everyone's dead.
Yeah, no survivors.
And then they walk out of the tunnel.
Like 5 people walk out of the tunnel.
Yes, and that's the end of the movie.
And then there's a during credit scene. Body bag. Wesker crawls out, he's all naked, and he's like, I cannot see. He's having like a real difficulty with it. And walks in.
Freaking Ada Wong shows up and is like, here's some sunglasses. They'll help you see. And it works. Yes. So this is why Wesker always wears sunglasses, because he's secretly blind. Which is hella funny. And Ada Wong's like, we need you alive. There's gonna be others. Whatever. I don't care about Ada Wong.
It sets it up for a sequel, but I highly doubt we will see a sequel again. This movie did not do well, but that has not stopped movie sequels in the past. So now we have finished 2 Resident Evil movies. And Welcome to Raccoon City is like not an appropriate name for, because Raccoon City is now no more.
So long, Raccoon City.
Yes. Thank you for visiting Raccoon City.
That's too long.
It's too long.
Sayonara.
How about the other Resident Evil movie?
Abitasen. Raccoon City.
Umbrella Leaves.
Don't call it Resident Evil. Just call it
Get Out. They could have called it the Umbrella Conspiracy. That would have been a more appropriate name and would have fit the book better.
Yeah, that was a weird title.
Yeah.
But you know what?
But they had to make it really different from the other Resident Evil movies because everyone knows those. So they're like, what can we...
Let's just try to make it the plot of 1 and 2, but weirdly connected. Yeah. Yes. Interesting choice.
Well, next month, we are not watching Resident Evil.
We're not.
We're going to take a little break.
Maybe I get to pick something this time.
I thought we were watching Uncharted.
Oh, dang it. I don't get to pick something. We're watching Uncharted.
Which is
kind of a spoiler for the next book that we're reading.
Yes. So you've heard it first. Sayonara. Welcome to Raccoon City.